What to do if you're in a job that you hate. Now, let's jump to the end. You know that the answer is you're going to have to leave. The hard thing is accepting that, making the decision, and then knowing what to do or how that's going to play out. But before we get into some of the things to help you think about solving those, if you want to, if you don't want to, then jump off this video and just keep complaining about how hard your life is. But if you are open to hearing why you don't want to do that, let's dig into that side and make sure that you do stick around for the first half, even if you don't want the solutions. Because the danger of staying in a role that you don't like and in a job that you hate is that it fucks you up. And mentally, you just go further and further down a hole. Now you're going to show up in your work as a person who you aren't really, and the person you don't want to be. You're going to do that when you get home. You're going to find it hard to exercise. You're going to find it hard to interact with your friends. You're going to be negative. Some of your friends are going to not want to spend time with you. Some of your family are going to wonder what's all that about. You're going to find a circle of other people who feel the same way about their jobs, and you think that's how the whole thing works. You're going to say something you regret to your boss. You're going to say something you regret to people that you're working with. You're going to show up late to meetings. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to make mistakes deliberately. You're going to find more content about people who are struggling with this, who hate their job, who hate their boss, who think that there's no way out, and you're going to be very miserable. Now, that sucks, and you don't want to live like that. Now, recently, friend of mine, let's say, came to me, but I've had this conversation a number of times, and basically they were asking about this. Now, they're not way down the rabbit hole, but I could tell that they're pretty close to being sort of checked out with what it is that they're currently doing. And they're thinking about doing something else, and I said, like, you know what the answer is. You know that you can't stay here. And I often say to people, like, don't just do some cool shit outside of work to try and keep you happier and going in the right direction, but don't do it to mask the pain of doing what you know that you shouldn't be doing and what you hate. Like, when you've really checked out from something and don't want to be doing something, you've got to cut the cord, and you've got to go, right, I need to build a plan to get away from this. So the danger, like I said before, of not doing this is that you can really, really impact your own mental health and the version of you that you don't want to be, and that's going to show up in other areas of your life. Now, personally myself, I love what I do. It's a Saturday. I'm off to have a networking breakfast, and we're going to look at some e-commerce. I'm only joking, you know what I'm talking about, right? But you can join it. I'll tell you, I'm going to meet you. Anyway, I get to meet with some people, have some breakfast. I don't need to be doing this, but I love it, so I'm excited and I'm pumped, and I get to meet a couple of people that I've met through my dealings that I've had. So I love what I do. So it's very easy to be like, oh, well, you love what you do. Of course you're going to say shit like this. But I've also been in roles where I don't really like it. I've felt what it's like to be like, I don't fucking think I belong here. I don't think that this is what I was supposed to be doing. And it erodes you, and it erodes who you are, the way you show up in other things. And I've been in both of those camps, and I can tell you that it is such a freeing feeling to not be doing something you don't want to be doing. Now, how do we end up getting into a position where we're doing what we don't want to be doing? Well, often we design our life based around the income that we have, and then we're effectively trapped by that income, and we feel like we can't change. But remember, we can. So I'm just going to step you through some of the things that I was telling my friend who asked me about this. So I said, one, we know that you don't want to be in this role. So we know that we have to quit at some stage. We've made the decision, we haven't taken the action, but sometimes making the decision is just important as doing the hard thing, as taking the action. And they can see that, they're just not sure how it's going to go, and they're scared. Of course we're scared. Of course we're going to be scared when we step into a completely unfamiliar surrounding. But I said, you're actually taking a lot of risk by staying in this role that you don't like. You're risking this, you're risking friendships, you're risking your reputation, and you're risking not doing good work for people who do deserve you. Now, this person is already doing a little bit of stuff like on the side, and the market is rewarding them by paying them. So we know that they've got data that it's valuable. So what I suggested was they go and tell all the people that they're currently doing a little bit of stuff for. So say you're mowing lawns for other people, go to all of those people and say, hey, I'm going to have a lot more time soon. Is there anything else you would like me to do for you? Can we have a conversation? And then you're getting the snowball rolling in the right direction. You're having some of those brave conversations. I'm like, you don't have to have it all figured out now. You don't have to have all the how. We've just got to start moving in the right direction. So before you even do that, maybe let's make a list of all the things that you're scared about, and then all the things that you could do to combat that. Now, that's some of the like starting point for up here, right? Of like, how are we actually going to solve this? And just remember, you're not the only one to do this. You know, so many people have gone through this fork in the road before, that a lot of people choose to stay in something that they're miserable and then vote, you know, fill out a survey saying they don't enjoy it. But if you want something to change, you've got to change it. And that is just how these things work. So then we can look at the financial side of things. And if you want to really step away from income, it's hard because you've taken years and years and years to get to the income that you're currently getting paid. So the mistake that we make is we think, I must replace my full income in year one. And why do we do that? Well, it's because we've built our expenses based on the income that we've generated or built up over years and years and years. So don't set that as the goal. Obviously, I would push for a bigger goal than that you go beyond that, but let's be realistic and let's step it back. So instead, what we want to do is we actually want to go to what we're currently spending and eyeball all of that and look at all of our outgoings and then figure out, okay, what do I not need to pay for? What are your levers? Is it interest-free on your mortgage for a little while? Do you move home with your olds? Do you move in with some friends? Rent your place out? Like, what can you kill in your budget? So now we need to try and squeeze our expenses so that our income can decrease. Now, if you have a partner, it's very, very important that you take them on this journey with you, because you're not just convincing yourself, you're convincing them. So you need to find out from them why it is that they're scared about doing this as well. So they've got to go on the journey. Otherwise, when shit gets rocky at month 6 and you haven't got the work or haven't changed the job or whatever, or like things aren't going the way that you thought they were, you're going to start fighting. And you don't want to fight. You need someone to support you and you need help. And if someone's not going to support you with your goals, go back to the start of this video. Maybe you know you've got a tough conversation to make. You don't want to be spending a life with somebody that's not going to support you. It's not good, in my opinion. What's it going to do up here? Not going to be good for us. How are we going to show up? What's going to happen to our mates? What's going to happen for our life? Not good. So squeeze down the gap. What can we change? And then we know, like, okay, these are my outgoings. This is my break-even point in accounting terms. So then, okay, what can I do to ensure that we have that income to do that? Now, side note to that, you might be at a point where you're not quite pissed off of your job, but you know you're going to get there. Well, then stack some cash aside, build some options. And I have a good friend who's done this as well, where they just stacked and stacked, and they grin and bear it, and they didn't really like what they're doing, but at least they were stacking some cash. And what does that do? It gives them ammunition, and it allows them to make some changes when they want to, and when they want to go after what it is that they really want to do. They've got a bit of a backstop. But if you can't because you're right in the here and the now, well then, go, like, even if it's not building out your own income, maybe you've got to then go and look and see what other jobs there are available, because you can't stay in something that you're miserable. Like, I don't know, like, how do we convince ourselves to do it? My mate said to me yesterday, oh, I'm just not sure like what to do, and I don't know if I know what to do. I'm like, you know what to do, it's just scary and it's just hard. I'm like, you need to quit this job. You can't do this anymore. It's not good for you. It's not healthy. And they've got enough good stuff going on outside of it that it's even easier for me to help them with this and step them through it. But it's still hard, because at some stage in our lives, we have to jump off the building and we have to know that the parachute will open. And I've been through this myself as well. And all of a sudden, like, all of the noise and all the stuff that you normally consume, you can't do any of that shit, because you've just got to figure out, how the fuck do I get this parachute to open? That's your main goal, is to get the parachute to open so that you can coast down, and then eventually you can start moving it and be like, actually, I want to go over there, and you get more in control of it. And I think so many of us forget that we're actually capable of this, and so we stay stuck in a life that we've built that we don't want, that we never wanted, but we've fallen into because we've got an income, we've accepted like safety of that, and then we've matched our expenses with that, or our debt levels with that, or our outgoings with that, and now we feel stuck. And that's exactly where a lot of people want you, because you're easily controlled like that. And this ain't some matrix shit. This is just, think about it. You know, I've been there. I couldn't make moves in my life when I was having to pay back the debt dealers and pay for the things that I knew that I shouldn't be doing, and I would then make even more mistakes and it would take me even longer. But eventually I had to rip the band-aid off and go, you know what, like, enough is enough. I don't want to be doing this. This is not the path that I want to be on. I need to change it. So my message here is that if you are struggling in the job that you are currently doing, all good. You're not the only one. A lot of people, I can't remember the exact stats, so I'm not going to give you the stat, but I read data about the amount of people who don't like their job. It's very common. But some of us have to do something about it. Some will never do anything about it. But my God, if you hate your job and you know deep down that you can do something about it, do not hang around those people, because they're only going to make you even weaker, even more miserable, even more frustrated. And bloody hell, we do not need more people struggling up here. We've got enough of that already. And I think a lot of it is people doing shit that they don't want to be doing in their life. So please start to build a plan. Start to accept how much of a risk it is to stay in that job. Not how much of a risk it is to get out and go and do your own thing, or change jobs, or go back to 10 grand of income or whatever. Find ways to change, and then you'll be a more vibrant and better person and happier, and you'll be able to then use that energy to put it into things that will bring that income back anyway. I promise you, you've got it in you, but you're consuming the wrong information and thoughts at the moment to think that it can't be done. So take this seriously, because you're gambling with your mental health.